me co- Let me set this session as recording. So at the end of this session, you can be able to retrieve it. So all you need to do is just to message us in the group, and we're going to send you the recorded version. So, okay, so the session is currently recording. After the class, you can be able to get this recorded session either in the group or by messaging us. So now let's get started. What is web development? So this diagram briefly shows us what web development is, but let's get a little bit more in depth. So web development is the process of creating, building, and maintaining websites and web applications that are accessible via the internet. It encompasses a variety of disciplines which include front-end development, back-end development, full-stack development, responsive web design, web security, and a little bit more. But these are the main things that makes up web development in today's world. We are going to be looking at each of these ones individually, but in general, this is basically what web development is today. Now let us look at this second slide. Here, web development has evolved from manually coded static websites using basic technologies to highly dynamic applications built with advanced frameworks and automated tools, enabling a richer user experience and more efficient development process. So let's take a look at these two diagrams or these two screenshots to explain what we just said. If anyone may guess, can you guess what website is this? Anyways, let me just help you to guess. This is basically the Apple website. As you can see, this is the Apple logo. Here you can buy a Mac, an iPhone, an iPad, and all of this. It really looks beautiful. It looks simple, and not only view the you can not only view the images on the website, you can actually go to the website and place an order, make a payment, and in a couple of days or in a couple of weeks, you receive your device from your home. So this makes this website extremely dynamic. And if you take a look at the website on the left, if you're wondering what website this is still Apple's website. But now the difference between these two is that this is Apple's website in 1997, that is over 20 years ago, and this is Apple's website today. So you see that the main difference between these two is that the website on the left is what they call a static website, and the website on the right is what they call a dynamic website. Now, you who are here to learn full stack development, this is the kind of website that you're going to be building today. You're going to be learning how to build dynamic websites where you can basically not only build just like basic pages, you can also build style and also include several functions like you can also include several functions like making payments, adding a user to log into their account, also following up with the user, messaging, so many things. So this is basically what you're going to be doing as a full stack developer. And a full stack developer can absolutely build this kind of website that is the website of the main website of Apple. Is basically a normal website mixed with a kind of e-commerce website. So this is absolutely possible with your full stack skills that you're going to learn. 20 years ago, full stack development was not really a thing. All you needed here was a front end that is built with HTML and CSS, and then a basic web server that is maybe built with PHP or something that just has like very few interactions with the website. But today, everything is on the web, softwares, video games, your social media applications, and so much more. So now let's look at why web development is such in high demand. So firstly, businesses need websites to grow and scale their businesses. So if you've ever looked at a business, let me say like a brick and mortar business that doesn't operate online, what you remark is that a lot of businesses today are trying to have an online presence. Whether it is social media, whether it is them having a website for people to come and order on their website, many businesses are trying to get online. And when the businesses try to get online, who do you think is the next person that are going to hire to help them go online? Yes, you've guessed it. It is a developer, and most especially a full stack developer. Because this full stack developer can basically set up their website, set up their payment services, and also set up a way for them to contact their customers. So full stack developers are in extreme high demand when it's time to like help businesses go online and also scale their businesses. Next, another reason why web development is such in high demand is that tech startups are getting created every single day. If you're a little bit in the online space, you know that every single day or every month or there is always a new tech startup that is being created. And if a new tech startup is being created, it means that these startups are going to want to hire developers to help them basically build the future. That is why tech startups and a lot of big companies are constantly looking for new developers, because that is how they are going to do to grow and scale their offerings. So developers are constantly in demand, and also even the software companies that are getting extremely big constantly even the software that are getting too big are constantly hiring developers to help them build their companies further. And more people are accessing technologies and smartphones today. So the more people access it, the more people or the more developers will need to maintain the software. So the more developers will be in demand. So these are just a few reasons why developers are currently in demand and web development is still in high demand. And you just keep growing year over year as new technologies keep building. People keep adopting smartphones technology in mass, and you just keep growing, and developers are just going to be needed every single time. So now, what makes up a website today? Let's look at it from a technology standpoint. So firstly, there is the front end. The front end is basically the look and feel of the website. And this includes what users see and interact with. And I always like using a very simple example. Let's say you go on Facebook today. Every single image, every single like, every single profile you see is what they call the front end. So the front end is what you, the user or the client, sees. And then next, we have what they call the backend. The backend is the brain. It basically processes requests, stores data, and ensures everything runs smoothly behind the scenes. And the keyword right here is behind the scenes. So you as a user or the client do not have access to the backend. You only have access to the front end, and the backend is accessible by the company. So when you go on Facebook and you see people's profiles, you see people's likes, people's photos, what is actually happening is that you are retrieving, or your computer is retrieving this data from the backend and ultimately from the database and displaying it to you. The only people who have access to the backend are the Facebook engineers and Facebook themselves. So this backend is responsible for storing the data, processing the data, and bringing it back to you for you to see. So generally, the way the front end and the back end used to communicate is through what they call an API. And an API is just like a bridge or a gateway for two different modules to communicate with each other. So the front end, which has in general nothing to do with the back end, is able to communicate with this back end and retrieve the data and display it thanks to this API. So that is how you're able, or that's how your computer is able to communicate with Facebook servers. It's through what they call an API. And even though this term may be confusing and new right now, in the Programmers University and our full stack development training, you're going to basically be learning this in depth, learning how to build your own APIs and connecting your own front end with your back end, ultimately allowing you to build applications like Facebook. And then finally, full stack. Full stack is basically the combination of front end and back end skills. And web development basically powers websites, apps, and online tools. Because web development is not only building a beautiful website, web development also involves building servers. And a server can also communicate with a mobile app. It can also communicate with an external device like even a car. So your web development skills can be used in several places that you cannot even imagine right now. Like you can still build mobile applications, you can build applications for cars, you can build, there is so much you can do when you start learning web development. So this is everything that basically constitutes a website today. Unlike what we saw 3 slides ago, the static websites that were made like 20 years ago didn't have all of these. They were mostly just basic HTML websites, and they didn't really have any interactivity feature. They didn't really have backends. It was just really, really bare bones and extremely simple. So today, web development is even actually more popular and more widely requested than software developers. So people who basically build desktop applications. So now let's take a look at certain projects. So these few projects are the projects that you're going to be building in the full stack program. And in the full stack training program, we basically teach by showing you how to build stuff. So you're going to be able to build all these projects by the end of this program. And we are doing this because it's not very important as a developer to learn too much theory. I mean, theory is good, right? But learning the theory is not going to help you build stuff. You need to learn the theory to begin with, and then you move straight into the building. And that is exactly what we do at the Programmers University. And these are just some examples of some projects that you're going to be building. So after you build these projects, it is a guarantee, like it's 100% guarantee that you'll be able to understand everything that is going on, because at the beginning it gets a little bit overwhelming because obviously it's still something new. But the more you study, the more you learn, the more you build, the more all of these things get very intuitive, and you see that programming is not even as difficult as people make it to be. Now let's look at front-end development a little bit in depth. Let's look at the technologies that you're going to be learning when you're going to be doing front-end development. Because we said earlier that as a full-stack developer, you're going to be required to learn both front-end and back-end development. So firstly, in front-end development, what you have to learn is what is called HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And this is basically the standard language for creating web pages and web applications. Then you have CSS. CSS basically stands for Cascading Style Sheets. And this is used to design the layout, look, and feel of a website. And finally, we have JavaScript. If anybody here has ever heard about JavaScript, a lot of new beginners or a lot of new people who are new into front-end development are always scared about or always scared of JavaScript. But JavaScript is one of the most important things that makes up your websites today. And to be a front-end developer, you must learn and you must get relatively good at JavaScript. So JavaScript is basically the programming language that adds interactivity and dynamic behavior to web pages. So the way I really like to explain all of this is just taking the example of the human body. HTML is basically like your exoskeleton. Let's say like let's just take yourself as a human being as an example. HTML is your exoskeleton. So without HTML, you don't have any website. So every website must have HTML because this is basically the main thing that is being added before the other things are added. So HTML is like your exoskeleton. Without your exoskeleton, you will not even exist. And then you have CSS. CSS is basically like the skin on your body, the things that make you beautiful, whether it's your skin color, whether it's your height, whether it's your, I don't know, your facial features or whatever. So CSS is basically what helps you to style your website. This is what helps beautify your website. And finally, JavaScript is like your brain. So after your exoskeleton, your skin, you have your brain which basically dictates who you are, your behaviors, how you interact with people. This is exactly how JavaScript is. So JavaScript dictates interactivity and the dynamic behavior of web pages, exactly as your brain does. So these three layers and this explanation is used to explain to you how websites are actually built and what makes up the front end and the front end development technology. So these are extremely important. You cannot be a front end or you cannot learn front end development without passing through these three. So the next technology you need to learn, or the next part you need to learn as a backend developer is, as a full stack developer is backend development. So for backend development, the first thing you have to learn is the programming language. And in this our case, the programming language here is called Node.js. And Node.js is a JavaScript runtime built on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine used for server-side development. And this server-side development, as we explained earlier, is basically developing apps or software that are going to run on the server. That is the part where only the companies can see. And a lot of people usually ask me that, is it obliged to start with just Node.js as a backend developer? It's absolutely not obliged. You can start with Java, you can start with Python, you can start with Golang. It absolutely depends just on you. But the reason why we took Node.js here is because in our full stack training program, we mainly start with Node.js. That is the main language that we're going to teach you all. And at any point in time, if you want to learn another programming language, it's absolutely fine. What you need to understand about programming languages is that they are all similar. What you're going to learn in Python, in Java, in C, in Node.js are all interconnected. You are basically learning the same kind of things: how to declare variables, how to loop through, how to write a for loop, how to write a while loop, recursion, a lot of those very common things. Now the main difference now maybe lies in their web frameworks. And now the web framework that we're going to be using here is Express.js, which is basically a web application framework for Node.js, which provides robust set of features for building web and mobile application. So this Express.js is going to be used to build what I described at the beginning, which is what is called an API. And this API basically helps you connect your front end and your back end. So this is an extremely important technology that you're going to have to learn how to use as a full stack developer. And we are absolutely teaching this in our full stack training program. And then finally, you have to learn a database, how to learn how to configure a database, how to store data in a database, retrieve, update, and delete. So those are the main operations that you're going to be doing generally when you be interacting with your database. And this usually is abbreviated using the abbreviation called CRUD. It basically stands for create, update, delete, CRUD, create, update, retrieve, delete. Yeah. So those are the four main interactions you're going to be doing with your database. So these are the main technologies or tools you're going to be using as a backend developer. So starting with Node.js, then going to Express.js, and then finally MongoDB, which is your database. And this diagram we have here really summarizes the backend. So we have system architecture, servers, database, security, which is very important, APIs, the business logic, the operating system on which the backend runs, the scalability, because your backend should be able to accommodate several users. Let's say you create your application, and then on the first day you have 100 users. Then on the 20th day you have 100,000 users. Your backend being scalable means that whether you have 100 users or 100,000 users, your application should be able to handle this amount of traffic without even um without even failing or without breaking or without slowing down. So that's what it means. Your application is scalable or your backend application is scalable. And then we have also frameworks and then data analysis. We are going to look at frameworks in a bit. So let's keep advancing. So now this is just an example here. This is just an example here of a full stack application. And this is a typical full stack application that you'll be seeing whether you work in what kind of company. So you'll be seeing this kind of application, which is called a dashboard. And once you get accepted into the Programmers University, this you basically be interacting with this kind of application, which is your dashboard. This is basically where you're going to be having all your learning materials, all your courses, your assignments, so basically everything. We have a dashboard that you'll be able to interact, and that is an example of a full stack application. And the application we are using in the Programmers University is absolutely built by us from scratch. That is from the front end, the back end, and all the technologies we use to build this is basically what we are teaching in the program. So if anybody is wondering if the people teaching actually know how to build, they absolutely know, because they are the ones, or we are the ones, who build our own platform. Now let's take a look at this diagram. This diagram basically shows us how to connect a front end and a back end application. So first of all, the front end is basically what the customer sees. So here we are going to name it customer. Firstly, what happens is that the customer sends what is called a request. That is this request, this request which is going via this arrow. This request moves over to the web server. It reaches in the web server processes it, sends it to the application server, gets here, processes it too, then finally it sends it over to the database. Now, when it sends it to the database, this request can either be a request to retrieve some data from the database, or to store a data in a database, or even to delete. Then once this operation is done, the database now sends a response. The application server processes it, then the web server processes it before it is being displayed to the user. So all this can happen in like less than 1 second. So let's say when you like a post on Facebook, all of this is happening in the instant that you like the post. So the request for you liking the post is being sent to all these servers, and then your like is stored in the database, and then the servers retrieves what the database has responded and then brings it back to you. So all of these things are done in an extremely fast period of time. So that is why we looked at this diagram beforehand. We said that your backend has to be scalable, because imagine that 100,000 people are liking a post at the same time. You don't want Facebook to crash. You don't want it to be slow. You still want it to be fast. So we as full stack developers, we have to make sure that our backends or our applications are scalable. So no matter the number of people using our application, it never feels slow. And I'm sure you guys have remarked that when you're using your favorite apps like maybe TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, no matter how many people are using Instagram at the same time, Instagram is still fast. When you like a post, it still works. It always works. This is because they have built it in such a way that it is extremely scalable and it can basically handle so many concurrent requests. A concurrent request is basically a request at the same time. So you're having maybe several people who are trying to several people who are trying to like a post at the same time. That is what is called a concurrent request. And do not worry if all what I'm saying right now seems a bit strange to you. Just try to pay attention, as the more you get into development, the more you continue building your apps, you're going to be able to learn all these things in depth and really understand it. So right now, try as much as possible to pay attention and just to follow up what I'm doing. Because once you're going to get into the program and you're going to get more serious with development, all these things become intuitive the more you practice. So you're not going to become a pro in one day. That is basically what I'm trying to say. So now let's look at the learning path for a full stack developer. We are now trying to just look at what you need to actually learn and focus on as a full stack developer. So firstly, we have advanced JavaScript. And this advanced JavaScript includes some uh, ES6 features and best practices. These are basically just features that help you write JavaScript in a smart way. It's nothing groundbreaking or ground changing. It mainly has to do with writing JavaScript in a compact and a very smart way. And then you have to also learn frameworks or libraries. We have not talked about this yet, but this is actually something extremely important that you have to learn as a full stack developer. And one of the most uh, popular frameworks that a lot of companies use. It is used in Facebook, it is used in Amazon, it is used in Airbnb, it is used in so many places. Even at the Programmers University, our website is built using this framework, is React.js. And this is the exact framework we are going to be teaching throughout the program. React.js is extremely popular, so no matter what company you're going to in today's world, there is a part of the application that uses React.js. So this is an extremely important framework to learn, and you're going to absolutely be learning it throughout the program. And then next, we have responsive design. And this ensures that websites work on all devices. For example, if you build your website today, you also want somebody with their iPhone or with a smaller device to be able to view your website in a nice manner. You don't want to build a website for your PC and then your friend or your brother tries to access this website on their phone and they're not able to see anything. You want that everybody, despite the device they use, are able to access your website. And this is where responsive design is extremely important and is extremely essential for you to master as a web developer or a full stack web developer. Now, for the backend, the path you need to follow as a full stack developer is not too different from what we saw previously. So firstly, we have Node.js, which is basically your server-side language or server-side JavaScript. And then we have Express.js, which is your web framework for Node.js. And all what I'm saying right now is just for you to take note, because these are the languages and the frameworks that you're going to be learning in order to build full stack applications. And then you have your database, which here you can focus on an SQL database or a NoSQL database. At the Programmers University, we focus mostly on NoSQL database or MongoDB. But one thing you should understand is that no matter which language you decide to go with at the end of the day, you can still build the same full stack applications. You can still build robust applications. And a real world example of a huge company which uses one of these databases is Discord. I think some people here should know what Discord is. Let me just give that assumption. It's basically a messaging app where you can like have different channels. You can message people. It's actually a very big company. You can Google it right now. So the name is Discord, and this is the database they used when starting out with their company. They basically use MongoDB and were able to handle over 100 million messages every single day, entering and leaving their database. So this is the database you're going to be learning how to use in the program. And if a big company like this has gotten to that stage with this language, it means that this is actually a great language. But now, obviously, everything has their limitations. So even Discord at a certain point moved away from this because they were also getting so many messages a day. I think right now they get over 1 billion messages a day. Anybody who knows how to count knows that 1 billion is like a ridiculous number. So they were obliged to leave from this to another kind of database that allowed their infrastructure. But this NoSQL database is still extremely good. And the reason why I'm emphasizing on this is that some people usually think that the SQL database is superior to the NoSQL database. It's just different types of way of doing things, and they require different infrastructures. So this is just for anybody who was wondering, but if you don't understand in depth what I'm saying right now, there is no problem. All you have to do right now is to pay attention. Once you get into the program and you actually start developing yourself, all of these things are going to seem so easy. I mean, you can hear how I'm speaking about all of this is because I actually learned it. I wasn't born understanding all of these things. I was in everybody's place. I mean, in all of your shoes. I was in all of your shoes when I started out. I didn't even know how to open a code editor. But today I am able to build fully functional applications, even banking softwares, anything you give me, I can build. So if anybody here is feeling like it's a bit much, know that it is absolutely normal. But I'm here to guide you for you to understand everything you need to understand so you can have an informed decision and see if programming or full stack development is actually something that you want to pursue further. So the next thing you need to learn is APIs. So APIs is basically used to building and consuming RESTful APIs. And as I explained what APIs are before, it is basically a way for your front end to communicate with your back end. So as a full stack developer, you have to learn how to build APIs and you have to actually build them. So it's actually very interesting stuff. Then you also have authentication and security. So basically, you have to also know how to implement user authentication and handle people's data securely. Like authentication, basically, if you go to the Programmers University right now and you want to access your account, we are going to ask for your login and your password. So these are basically details that only you have. We are not able to see your password. You're the only person able to see your password. So once you enter your email and your password and you click on enter, what happens is that we can securely authenticate your account, or we can securely grant you access without anybody else having access to your account. Even us don't have access to your account. So this is what a lot of big companies do, like Facebook. When you go on Facebook, you need to log in. When you go on TikTok, you need to log in. Same thing with Google. So every company nowadays have an authentication and handle people's data. So you have to be able to handle these two things securely as a full stack developer. And then finally, you need to know how to deploy your applications. And deployment basically is hosting applications on platforms like Heroku, AWS, or Azure. This just basically means that putting your applications on the internet for people to see. Because while you're developing your applications, while you're coding, while you're writing your code, you're the only person who can test and see your application. But now, if you ask yourself, how do I get my family members to also access and test my application? The answer to that is hosting. You have to host your applications. So your front-end application, you host your back-end application, and also host your APIs. So all of these things can be on the web. So all you need to do now is just give the link to your friend that, hey bro, or hey sis, go to my website www.whatever.com and check out what I've built. So it's only after you host your application that you can give it to somebody to access. If you do not host it, the person will not be able to access it. You're the only person able to access when you have not hosted it. That is why hosting and deploying your application is extremely, like, if you don't, it's basically super important as a developer. And then now, let's just have a summary now of all we have covered. So if you got lost, let's just have a summary. So right here, all the skills you need to learn, we have first of all have programming languages, which includes HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then we have frameworks and libraries, which includes React.js, Node.js, and Express.js. And then we have database knowledge, and you need to have knowledge of either SQL or NoSQL. You mustn't have knowledge of both, so I think I'll have to change this to or. You don't need to have knowledge of both of them. SQL or NoSQL is still going to work. And then you need to have knowledge of how to use a version control system. And the most popular is Git. So you need to know how to use either Git and also GitHub for collaboration. So we are going to be teaching you how to use all these, and these are extremely important because when you're working on a team, you should be able to collaborate with your team members, and Git and GitHub facilitates this a whole bunch. And then you also need to have problem solving abilities. So you should be able to troubleshoot and debug issues. So if you're having a bug in your code, you should be able to debug it. You should be able to come up with clever solutions for you to be able to troubleshoot this and solve the issues. And finally, now the obvious, which is soft skills. So you need to know how to communicate with your team. You need to know how to work with people, and you need to know how to adapt. And the adaptability is very important because with a lot of software companies, there is hardly a very safe date that the company follows. For example, if there is a client that needs a software product developed or delivered on a certain day, let's say for example, the 1st of March, in a lot of times the software might not be ready by that time. So you need to be able to adapt to these timelines. You need to be able to shift your schedule in order to work and make it happen, or in order to even communicate with the client well and let them know that there are some delays. So communication, teamwork, and adaptability are extremely important as a developer. So as you can see, it's not only about writing code, it's not only about typing code. Problem solving and soft skills are extremely important. And now let's take a look at the global demand of web development. So one very interesting thing about web development is that as a web developer, you must not only work in a tech-related industry. So for example, if you're a mechanical engineer, you have to work in a company that does something related to mechanical engineering. Or if you're, let's say, an electrical engineer, you have to work in that domain. But one thing about being a developer is that you can work anywhere. Because as I said, every single company has or let me say most companies today have an IT department or a development department. And no matter what the company does, even though they are let me say a construction company, chemical company, they probably have a website, they probably have a platform, and you as a developer can work in that company. So you don't even need to know what the company does. You don't need to understand what they do. All you need to know is to know how to build websites, build applications, and you'll be hireable. So it makes you extremely versatile, and it allows you to work across all industries. And then you also have remote and freelance opportunities. So anybody here who is interested in working from home, working remotely, this is something that is absolutely possible and is actually absolutely enhanced as a developer. So you can work from anywhere, serve clients globally, and set your own schedule. And the world of tech is basically growing every single day. So you have new startups created every day in Africa, including Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, Kenya, everywhere. And all of these things make the demand for tech people extremely, let me say, it grows the demand of tech people every single day. So now let us answer a very glaring question that most people have. And this is something that we try to incorporate to in our program in the Programmers University. So will AI replace developers? Let's now look at the demand for AI and the demand for developers. So firstly, AI is just a tool. So without the developer right now, AI cannot basically do much. So what happens is that you use your skills as a developer and then combine it with the fast nature of AI in order to deliver software fast. And also we need developers to build AI. And one reason why we are really taking our time to answer this question is because a lot of people who want to get into tech today are now slowing down because they think AI is going to replace developers. But instead, what is happening is that it is developers who are good at developing who use AI and combine it to their already existing skills that replace other developers which are not good. So it is still the same thing as before. It's just that now everybody is now using AI, and if you're not competitive enough and you're not able to learn this tool, you're going to be replaced by another developer who is better than you and uses AI to enhance his work. So to really answer this question more deeply, I really like using the example of farmers. So if you look at farmers, what does the farmer usually does on a daily basis? A farmer usually has tools like a hoe, a spade. I don't really know all the tools, but they have tools that are able to use to till the soil. And before, they're usually doing it traditionally, that is with their hands. They go on the floor, or even till today, they still do it. But that was the only way of doing it before. And it took a lot of time. But when the machines came, things like the tractors, the things like the automatic machines that help you plant seeds, it didn't replace farmers. What it did is just that it helped farmers to do their work faster and more efficiently. There are still several farmers today. It's just that right now, farmers have more adequate tools to help them do their work faster. That is exactly what AI is to developers today. So AI is not here to replace developers. AI is here to enhance the work. So there may be other places where AI may replace people that we are still to see it in the near future. But as of today, AI is actually here to enhance the work of a developer. So what we really advise our students at the Programmers University is that start by learning the skills, learn how to code, learn how to build softwares by yourself. And then now we are going to show you how to use AI in order to build softwares faster so that you can be more useful to a company, you can be more useful to your client, or if you're trying to build a startup, you can build your startup faster. So the main word here is learn, adapt, and grow. And now let's take a look at how you can do, or some methods you're going to do to turn your skills into income. Because at the Programmers University, this is basically what we have at the forefront. As I said at the beginning, if your goal is just to learn programming for fun, I'll absolutely advise you not to sign up for this program and to go instead on YouTube and learn. It's going to take a lot of time to learn by yourself, maybe 4 or 5 years. But if you're just here for fun, you don't really need to accelerate your learning and really pay for a program. All you need is just to learn it by yourself. But since earning and we believe that people should be productive with their skills is at the forefront of our program, we basically focus a lot on showing you the ways you can do to make money with your skills. So basically where you can find jobs, where you can find freelance skills, how to attract clients, how to attract employers that are interested in you. Because when you implement the methods that we show you in the program, employers are the ones that are going to be looking for you at times, and you will not always need to apply for jobs. I mean, this is not the case every single time, but this is a possibility if you know how to put yourself out there and if you do the right things in order to attract the right employers. So let's take a look first now at the first way to make money as a developer. And this is done using what is called freelancing. And in order to freelance today, there are so many opportunities to freelance. You can still find your projects or people you're going to do freelance services for around you, but a very big recommended way is to go to online platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. So once you go to these platforms, the first thing you need to do is you create a profile. You need to start by searching for entry-level projects, so very basic projects. If you go on Upwork right now, you see a basic project to maybe refine a landing page of a website, or let me say to just do a very small modification that are going to pay $100 after you've done it. So $100 is quite a good amount for a small project. So after you do this small project, you now start to build a portfolio. So you build a portfolio to showcase the simple apps you've done. You build a portfolio to showcase the projects you've worked on. And then you can even show these projects now to other clients who are trying to hire you. And then over time now, after doing these small projects, after building your portfolio, you can start increasing your price. So if you're doing projects for $100, you can move over to 500. You can move over to 1,000. And then at the peak, when you get even way bigger, you can start doing projects for $10,000 per project. That is very possible. People even do projects for way more than that. So the opportunity is actually limitless once you're a freelancer. But obviously, you have to start small. It is not easy. This is not a get rich quick scheme. It's not easy. You have to put in the work and put in the effort, and eventually, you're going to get there. And once you're working with a client and once you get your first project, always have to remember to communicate clearly, deliver your project on time, and earn your positive reviews. Because some people think that getting the project is everything. When you get the project, you should be able to deliver it on time so that this your clients can give you a positive review so the next client can easily hire you and give you money, because that is the ultimate goal. So in order for them to pay you and in order for you to enjoy the money, you need to do their project well, deliver it on time, and they enjoy their project. So it's a give and take. It's not only you receiving, you give, then you receive. So that is actually how it works. And then another way to make money with your tech skills is the most common way, which is getting an employment opportunity. So basically getting a job. And then in order to do this, you need to look for junior developer roles in maybe startups or established companies. You can also look for remote positions. So this you must not only work in a company that is around your local area or in your city or in your country, you can still work in a company that is in another country. For example, at the program at university, a lot of our team is remote. So a lot of our team do not even see each other. Some people don't even know what the other person looks like, but we collaborate with each other. We are able to work together in order to make everything work. So today, remote working is something that is very rampant. As developers, and even in the program at university, our team is made up of a lot of developers, even designers. We are all fully remote. That is why sometimes some people ask me whether we have in-person classes, and I say no. We work remote. We teach you how to code, and we teach you also how to work remote so that you can make the choice to either work for a company face to face or work remotely. But we absolutely give you all the tools, and we are also a remote company. So showing you that in today's world as a developer, everything can be done remote. All the tools are there necessary for it, and the infrastructure is there. All you need to do is just to learn the skills, position yourself in the market, start contributing to a company's welfare, and ultimately make money, earn, grow your status, and all those kind of good stuff. And then, as a developer too, as a full stack developer too, you can also work in several diverse places. So, to begin with, a full stack developer knows front end and back end development. So, if you find some job applications that are only requesting for a front end developer, you are suited for the job. If you find something that only wants a back end developer, you are still suited. So, even if it's not a full stack role, it's a front end or a back end role, or even DevOps role, you can still um, be good for the role, because DevOps is mostly about deployment, hosting, and remember, those are things that you learn. Those are things that you learn as a full stack developer. So you can also switch over to DevOps and still have a good time there and still be able to find opportunities. So this is now one of the least common ways of making money as a developer, which is through entrepreneurship and doing building softwares for passive income. But let me just tell you exactly how you can do to get into it, because I know some people here are super ambitious and may want to build a company and get into entrepreneurship. So firstly, you need to create a niche website or apps. You have to do this by filling a gap in the market. So basically, look for any gap in the market, look for anything that is lacking in the market, and try to build it by yourself. Next, you need to find a way to make money from your application, and this is done through ads. You can put ads in your application, so when anybody sees an ads, you get paid. You can add subscriptions, so people need to subscribe to your app for them to view the content, or you can be selling digital products. Maybe like you can build an app that allows people to sell books, allow people to sell movies, for example. So that is a way that you can actually make money. And then over time, you can scale your idea. You start small, then you gather feedback, you improve features, and you grow your user base. And the more you grow your user base, the more your revenue starts growing, the more you start making money. So this is actually one of the most difficult ways to make money as a developer, but it's also very possible. And now, as an entrepreneur, if you decide to go the entrepreneurial route, the main thing you should be focusing on is to solve problems. Because since this is the most difficult way to make money, it also has to use a different approach. So here you don't only build apps to put in your portfolio and show clients. Here you're trying to solve problems. And to solve problems, you have to start by identifying market gaps. Then you have to design your application in such a way that it is easy to use. A user can actually access your application and doesn't need to think too much before accessing the features. And then finally, you need to make it in such a way that you're able to have recurrent revenue and you're able to have referrals. So people will be so happy to use your application that they'll be so happy to tell their friends, tell their families. Their families will come, tell their friends, tell their families too. Their families will tell their friends. So it will create this very large effect of people just referring your app, and then you solve a big problem, you grow big and make a ton of money. That's why the richest people today are entrepreneurs. You see the Mark Zuckerberg, you see the Jeff Bezos, all these people build softwares, they build web applications, but they were able to solve a problem that a lot of people love and people keep sharing with their friends. So this is the most difficult way, but if you can succeed here, you can become a billionaire. That's very possible. So now let's take a look at how you can deal to build a project. So this website right here is a website built by us. So basically, OraLearn is our parent company. So if you head over to oralearn.com, you see this website. This is basically a website built by us. And now this is a step-by-step way to build a project as a developer. So firstly, you identify your problem. It can be a problem in your local community, or it can be a problem that you want to solve for yourself. Step two, you need to outline a basic solution. And this is very important. You need to outline a very simple version of the solution you're trying to propose. And then the step three, you need to implement these basic features. So as a full stack developer, you'll be able to implement the user login, for example, posting and commenting on your platform. You don't need to build something too crazy. You don't need to build a new Facebook on day one. Just start by implementing the very basic features. Then what you want to do is that the basic version of this your application, you want to launch it, gather feedback, and improve features, then ultimately improving the user experience. So you can get the effect that we just talked about recently. That is people recommending it to their friends recommending it to their friends, all this ripple effect, making your application effectively big and you actually building something meaningful that helps people and makes you a bunch of money too. And then finally, once you've built your project, you can figure out how to monetize it. That is optional. If you're building your project to make money, yes, you need to figure out how to monetize. But if you're building it as a way to show clients so clients can hire you, or to be able to showcase it for you to get more freelance projects, then you include it in your portfolio and in your resume. And building a portfolio is something extremely important that you need to do as a developer. And one project that we are actually having in the full stack training program in the Programmers University is helping you build out your portfolio and laying out all your projects in a comprehensive manner that allows employers to want to contact you and schedule you for an interview. Because the first step to getting hired is getting scheduled for interviews. So having a portfolio is extremely important. So now that we have taken a look at all this, now let us take a look at how you can do to get into our full stack training program. As I said, this training program is mainly for people who are here to take programming seriously and ultimately earn with their skills. If you want to learn programming for fun, then this program is absolutely not for you. So to get started, let's take a look at who this program is for. So if you're into any one of these categories, then this program is absolutely for you. Firstly, aspiring developers with zero experience. So if you're wondering if you needed to have prior experience to get into the program, you don't need to have any experience. So we accept people with zero experience. That is actually the main people that get into the program. Or if you're a professional looking to switch careers, so if you're doing any other job right now and you want to get into tech, you want to learn coding, you want to be a developer, then this program is absolutely for you. And then if you're a student or a recent graduate, so you just graduated from the university or from college, or you're a student who wants to use their extra free time to learn programming and learn web development, then this is absolutely for you. If you're an entrepreneur or an inventor and you want to learn how to build software by yourself, because a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays make their fortune through softwares. We have the Mark Zuckerbergs, we have the Jeff Bezos, we have the creator of Airbnb, all these big apps. They learned how to code and they use their coding skills to build apps. Then if you're this kind of person, this entrepreneur or this inventor, you are absolutely welcome to this program. Now, if you're also a developer, let's say you're a backend developer and you want to learn front-end development to be a full-stack developer, or you are a full-stack front-end development and you want to learn the other side to complement your skills to be a full-stack developer, then this program is for you. Because being a full-stack developer, most of the time you'll be paid more than if you're just a front-end or a back-end. So full-stack developers actually get paid more. So if you're trying to increase your skills, upgrade your skills, then this program is for you. So any one of these avatars, all you need is an internet and a will to learn. So obviously internet, a computer, which includes a laptop or a desktop, and the will to learn. So no additional thing is needed for the program. These are the main things. And if you fall between one of these categories, then you are very much welcome. And as I said, if you're just here to have fun, then this program is not for you, because we absolutely don't want people who are just here to have fun and just to discover. You should absolutely want to learn this skill. You should absolutely want to make money with this skill and eventually create so much good at opportunities for yourself. So those are the people that we work with, and those are the people that we want to work with. That is why our application forms, and that is why we have an application process for the program. So if you don't yet know where to apply, I'm going to leave the application link right now. Just check the application link in the comments. Application is totally free, but we are going to be looking at the tuition in a few minutes. So now, why should you get into the Programmers University? So basically, what do we offer? So firstly, we offer a structured 12-month program which covers front-end, back-end, and full-stack development step by step. And then we have practical projects which are basically job ready for your portfolio. So all the projects that we have are basically handpicked to impress potential employers that are going to want to hire you. So every project that you're going to build here, once you put it in your portfolio and your resume, are going to absolutely impress any employer or client that is trying to work with you. So this is basically the main way we use to teach, which is project-based learning, which will give you a series of assignments and projects for you to do, which are absolutely resume ready. And then we have mentors and instructors throughout the program, which are always readily there for help, whether it is help with homework, whether it is help with something you don't understood, or if you're having difficulties ever accessing our platform, our mentors and our support is always there. So you're never alone throughout your journey. This is not a course, this is actually a training program with real people assisting you throughout the way. So if you thought that this was just a course that you go and buy on Udemy and take whenever, this is not it. This is real people assisting you, real mentors, real professors that are here to guide you at every step on the way. And then we focus on your earning potential. So we don't only teach you to code, but we help you leverage these skills for income, whether it is freelance employment or if you want to launch your own product and eventually raise funds. We don't help in the raising funds part, but we help you building your own product. Raising funds is a whole entire different industry, but once you have a product, once you have something that you've built, you can absolutely raise thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or depending on your project, even sometimes millions. So, how are classes structured? So we have one class a week, and this class is typically in the weekend because this program is designed for you to be able to do it if you have any other endeavors in life. So we require to dedicate 1 to 2 hours towards coding every single day, which includes towards doing your assignments, doing your projects, And this 1 to 2 hours is the minimum. So you can, if you're somebody who wants to learn faster and actually be better, it's absolutely advisable to do more. But if you have other endeavors, 1 to 2 hours is absolutely necessary for you to go through this program. So we are only going to have 2 classes when we'll have maybe a project or we need to have a catch-up class. So we have weekly assignments and daily interactions in students groups. So your students groups currently are going to be on WhatsApp, but we are currently releasing our own mobile application where you're going to be able to interact with other students directly on our mobile app, because we don't want people being distracted with WhatsApp. So we are going to move away from WhatsApp and have our mobile app where you're going to be having all your learning. So these are the admission requirements for the next batch. And a quick information is that we take several batches throughout the year. So if you're not able to get into this batch, you can still get to a next batch. But our next batch basically starts in February 15. The applications for this batch is currently open, and you should go and fill out your application on our website. We usually send updates on WhatsApp. So if you're not able to get the link here, we'll send an update probably tomorrow or on Monday, so you can still go to the link. The admission requirements, basically you need to complete the application on our website, and then you answer all the questions and complete the assessment. And a requirement for the program is to have a laptop or a desktop and an internet connection. You cannot do this program on your mobile device. If you don't have a laptop or you don't have a PC, unfortunately, you need to save up or you need to find a way to get one, because you're not going to be able to make any money as a developer without a laptop. You can learn the basics with your phone, but as I said, we are here to show you how to learn the skill to make money. So ultimately, having a mobile device is not enough. So that is absolutely a requirement to participate in this program. So if you don't have this, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get much out of this program. And no prior experience or certifications are needed. So you don't need a degree, you don't need any certifications. All you need is what we listed previously. And you must be 16 years and above. Currently, we don't work with children under the age of 16, but maybe in the future, we're going to have a dedicated program for younger kids. So you must be 16 and above. Or if you have somebody that you want the person to attend, unfortunately, we don't work with children, that is children under the age of 16. And then this is now the tuition information. So for the tuition, we have basically 2 plans. So you can either decide to opt for the one-time payment plan of $350, or you can go with a split plan that is 3 payments of $120. And obviously, all of this can be paid through your local currency. So if you're in Ghana, in Cameroon, in Kenya, in Nigeria, you must not pay with your debit or credit card. So if in your country you use mobile money or you use bank transfer, we absolutely accept all those payment methods through our website. Because our website, we are an online company, but we operate mainly in Africa. So we understand that a lot of us here don't have debit or credit cards. So our program is suited for everybody and everyone who wants to use their own local payment methods. We support all of that. And now there is an early admission discount that is running for this coming batch. So if you're able to complete your enrollment, get admitted and complete your payment before February 1st, you can basically get a discount from the full tuition. So if you're able to complete everything, I know some people here have already applied. So if you're able to complete everything by February 1st, then you get the discount. But if you're not able to, then the normal tuition price still applies. So the next steps you have to do, head over to our website, create your account, complete your application. The admission decisions are going to be sent out throughout the week. So once you apply, you're going to have to wait a couple of hours, or in the worst case, 1 or 2 days to get your admission decision, and then the next steps. And this is the application link. It is theprogrammersuniversity.com//sign up. Make sure to opt in for the early discount. If you want to get the discount, it is going to close on February 1st. So now is the time for any questions. So if you have any questions, make sure to answer. I've seen a couple of questions in the comment section, so I'm going to read certain questions here. But if you have a question and you don't want to comment, you prefer to talk, just raise your hand, just put the thumbs up emoji, and I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, so I see a question in the comment here. Do I need a laptop? Yes, you absolutely need a laptop. If full stack developers can host or deploy applications, then why do companies hire DevOps engineers? This is because some companies have very complicated hosting process or deployment process. So they are full stack developers, so their developers are going to be busy with their own work, and they need people that are going to be available 24/7 to attend to any hosting issues or any deployment issues. That is why they need a dedicated DevOps team, because those companies basically have millions of people using their services, so they cannot afford to have a developer still handling the DevOps side, because if there is a downtime and the developer is not available, the website can crash and they can lose so much money. That is why companies still need dedicated DevOps engineers who are going to only learn the DevOps things and are going to ensure that the website is always up, the pipeline is always ready and running. How is coding related to cybersecurity? So this right here, full stack development, is not related to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, what you're doing most of the time is writing scripts. You're not writing code, you're not building websites, you're not building applications, you're dealing with network. And then you can also use coding in cybersecurity to automate certain network processes, but it is not related to full stack development. A cybersecurity engineer's job is very different from a full stack developer's job. Cybersecurity has to do with the network layer. Full stack development has to do with the application layer. Which certification is awarded after completion? So after completion, you are awarded a certification of completion, which shows that, or which testifies that you have the necessary skills in front end and back end development and are able to build the project in full stack development. So you actually get a certificate of completion. So what do we get after the course? I mean certificate grade. So I just said that you're getting a certificate of completion, which testifies that you've acquired the necessary skills to be a full stack developer. Okay, so I'm seeing if we could pay at least 30% on the first month, and then after getting all the trust, we can. Yes, absolutely. So let me go back to the tuition slides. So you have the option to pay either the full tuition or you can pay 30% as requested. So for this, you can pay the first payment, that is $100 instead of all the $300. And then the next payment is going to be due in 2 months, is basically going to be due in 2.5 months after the first payment. So I can I can 100% assure you that we are not scammers, but we absolutely understand people's skepticisms and it's totally normal. So you can pay the first part of the tuition, that is the first year, that is 1/3 of the tuition, and then later on you complete it, because once the program is going to start, you are going to see firsthand that we give you a lot of resources. Classes are taking place every single week, and then with all the things that you're going to do, you are going to have the confirmation by yourself. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. You are going to come and see by yourself, but you can absolutely pay 30% first, as you can see here. It is not, you must not pay everything all at once. So kindly repeat the payment plan. Okay, here it is on screen. You can actually just convert it to your currency, or on our website we automatically convert it. Why didn't we include Golang as a backend language? As I said, the backend languages are absolutely subjective. We can use any programming languages for backend, but the thing is that Node.js is extremely popular. We are going more with the popular languages so that immediately after the program, you can easily have more employment opportunities for you. But with the knowledge you get from learning the Node.js or the backend languages that we are teaching, you can absolutely transfer it at any moment in time to learn another programming language, like let's say Golang, Python, or Java. That is why we are starting with Node.js, but the way we are teaching you Node.js, if you want to go to Golang, if you want to go to Java, Python, you can absolutely do it at any moment in time. So we recommend you try to learn the concept, you try to understand the concept before actually trying to build stuff. So don't only come to cram stuff. Understand the concept, because after you understand the concept, you can learn any other programming language. Okay, Mr. Bright asked for the payment plan again. So here's the payment plan. Thanks for the beautiful presentation. You're very welcome, Mr. Henry. Can we elaborate on the payment plan in CFA? Okay, so I think the payment plan in CFA is based on the current conversion rate. So I think it's like 630 francs. So this 300 is probably like 180,000 francs, something like that. And this $100 is probably like 65,000 francs. I'm not too well versed with this conversion rate, but as I said, all of these are payable in your currency. So you can just tap on Google and convert this. And once it's time to pay, the convert is going to be automatically converted in our website. So how much is the application fee? So the there is no application fee, sorry. The only thing you pay is the tuition after you get admitted. So I think in cedis, $300 should be like 4,700 cedis. Guys, I'm not very well at converting, so just bear with me if it's not super accurate. But I think it's like 4,700 cedis, and 100 is probably like 1,500 cedis. That's what I think. But as I said, you can just take this and convert it to Google. So no matter your country, just convert it to the currency. So Daniel's hand is up. I'm going to ask Daniel to unmute himself. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah. I would like to find out what is the origin of your mother company, and with the application, is there any way maybe Python can also be introduced, or once you are using with the Java, is it the same as the Python, or is there any way Python can also be introduced at a point of time in the program?
Okay, so starting with your first question, our company is currently registered in the US. The name is OraLearn. I mean, you can research it. Let me just type it in the comment section. It's OraLearn, or you can type OraLearn LLC, anyone. You're going to see it registered in the US. And then for whether we can introduce Python, as I said at the beginning, we want to focus just on one language and framework, because the thing about Node.js is that Node.js is not the only thing you learn. You also learn the framework for you to build APIs. You also learn the database. So if we introduce two programming languages at the same time, it is absolutely going to confuse you, because we are trying to teach you how to build backends. We are trying to teach you how to build softwares and applications, not only how to code. That is why I say that the ultimate goal of the program is for you to be able to use your skills to make money with your skills. So coding is not the part that gives you money. It's building things. So we teach you one language so you can build things with it. And then along the way, after the program, or if you have enough time, you want to learn another language, you are absolutely free to do so. But we absolutely recommend you focus on one language, one framework, one database, learn how to build apps with it. Because once you start applying for jobs, or once you start looking for opportunities, the employer is not really focusing too much on the language you learn. They focus on what you've built with that language, because they understand that you can learn any other language. I have a friend who went to work for Slack. I don't know if you know Slack. So basically, it's a messaging company. They help companies message each other. It's just like a messaging app like Discord. So when they were interviewing him, he had learned Java. But once he got into Slack and he did an internship in Slack, he realized that they were not even using a programming language that was popular. The programming language they were using was created by them. So you cannot find their language anywhere. So at that moment, whether he learned Python, whether he learned Java, he learned Node.js, it doesn't matter. They just wanted to know if he knew how to code, if he knew how to build stuff, and he knew. But the language they were using in their company was a language they created. That's why I totally emphasize on the fact that you shouldn't focus on the individual languages. You should focus on what you build with the language. And that is absolutely what we teach. So we are not going to be introducing Python, but I can absolutely assure you that with what you're going to be learning here, with everything that you're going to be building, anytime you feel like learning Python, you have absolutely no issues to understand it.
Right, thank you. But then I think I have a follow-up question again.
Okay.
So how does this program help someone who aspires and go into cybersecurity in the near future?
Okay, so as I said, cybersecurity and full stack development are totally different skills. So we are going to introduce a cybersecurity program in the near future, but this full stack program in particular doesn't have anything to do with cybersecurity. It can only help you if you want to like learn programming in general, and you can use those skills to transfer to cybersecurity. But even so, if you want to go to cybersecurity, it is highly advisable for you to go to a program which is specialized in cybersecurity. So at the moment, we are not specialized in cybersecurity, but we plan on expanding our offerings to cybersecurity later this year. But for this full stack training program, unfortunately, it has nothing to do with cybersecurity and everything to do with application development.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, you're very much welcome. So, Mr. Ben is having a question. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, please. Please, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. Please check out your microphone.
Please hope you can hear me.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
So I was saying, looking at how big your company is, do you have any connections with other companies that after you are done with the course, you can be linked to work with and then others? Because there are a lot of people that they learn, we like to learn, but then they think of where they are going to. Okay, it's about freelancing, working remotely. For that one, I understand that one. But with like other companies, specific companies that we can work with. Do you have any such companies?
Okay, so at the moment, we are currently working on partnerships. We're currently working on partnering with other companies because at the moment, we are still in the moment of, in the course of training our current batches. So we don't yet have an established relationship with companies so that once our graduates are done, they should go to those companies directly. There is no guaranteed path at the moment, but we are currently working on establishing partnerships with other companies so that once our first batches graduate, these people are going to be able to be vetted before entering those companies. Because even after graduation, it's not like you're just going to be sent directly to any partnered company. You still have to be vetted, you still have to go through the process. But now we are the ones who are going to be taking care of vetting you, taking care of making sure you're ready to enter the company. So the partnerships are still currently in the works. They are not yet confirmed. But for now, what we offer 100% is career support. But in the near future, we are planning on established partnerships as you've asked, so that once you finish, there is an exact path, an exact name of a company that you have extreme high chances of getting into. So is this batch, Mr. Daniel is asking if this batch is our first batch. No, our first batch started in 2024, and they are still currently on their, let me say, this is currently like their 7th month in the batch. So this current batch is currently the 5th batch. So I think in the group, in our WhatsApp group, you probably saw the name of the group as batch 5. So this is currently our 5th batch. This is not the first batch. We have even another batch that came in December. So this is not the first batch. This is not the first batch that we are doing this with. So we already have a program that is actually already established. So once you're going to get in, and you can even explore our curriculum and our program on our website. You can download our curriculum right now, check it out. So you can basically have all the information you need. Yao said there are a lot of bootcamp training being advertised, promising heaven on earth. Wow, that is funny. Is 3-month bootcamps enough to enter into tech industry? At our program, we absolutely believe that 3 months is not enough. That is why our program is 12 months. In 3 months, you cannot realistically learn everything you need to become a developer, especially a successful one. Our program is very detailed. we don't give you just 3 months. I mean, 3 months is a very unrealistic period of time. In 3 months, the only thing they can give you are maybe the resources. Nobody can give you all the follow-up you need in 3 months. So our program is 12 months, not 3 months. And I personally don't think that a beginner can realistically learn everything they need to succeed in just 3 months. How many days a week is the program going to take? We have a single class a week, and sometimes you're going to have 2 classes a week. So throughout the week, what you'll be mostly doing is projects and assignments. We focus mostly on projects and assignments and not giving classes, as most of what you're going to be doing most of the time is coding and building stuff, not only attending lectures. Attending lectures is a little part. Most of the things is projects and assignments, because that is what is going to actually make you to learn effectively. So I'm currently seeing no hands up, and you've asked so many good questions, like so many good questions. Okay, a new question just came up, Mr. Daniel. Bring the questions, guys. I'm here for that.
All right. I want to find out. I think you made mention of using SQL at a point of the program. Does one require to have a knowledge about the SQL? Because, or when you are doing it, are you going to start the base of the SQL, or just a point that requires of the program?
So we actually teach a NoSQL database. So you will not need to learn SQL, because as I said, in today's world, you can decide to either go with SQL or NoSQL. So we want to give you the tools that are going to help you to build apps efficiently. And SQL takes a lot of time to learn, and we don't believe that you really need to learn SQL if you want to build full stack apps. A NoSQL database is easier to get into, and it's still going to be easier for you to build apps that are going to actually help you get employed or land clients or whatever. So what we are teaching is NoSQL, to be specific, MongoDB. So we are not teaching SQL throughout the program. It's basically a NoSQL database. So a database that doesn't require SQL. So that is what we're teaching. That is what we use to build our platform. If you check out our platform, everything that is there is built without SQL. It's built using a NoSQL database. And that is absolutely what we are teaching. So no, you will not learn SQL. You will learn database, but a NoSQL database. So Mr. Ben already asked a question, so I'll just take the 2 questions that are in the comment section before moving back to you, and then we are going to call it a day. But if after this class you have any questions, make sure you email us, or you message any admin in the group, or if you didn't come from the group, you just send a message to the number that messaged you to remind you of the class. So after this program, is it really necessary to work as an intern to know what actually happens in the tech industry? It will be prudent you partner with top companies so graduates can have a practical experience after graduation. Okay, so after graduation, you can absolutely intern with another company, because every company is unique. Every company has their own systems. So if you want to intern with another company, that is fine. But what we do in the program is that we actually give you kind of like intern experience. So when you're doing larger projects, you'll basically be working with a mentor, and you're going to be working with other students, so you can collaborate in a group kind of environment. And this kind of environment is the same kind of environment you'll be doing when you're going to be working on collective projects in a company. So working with other developers, working with your senior developer, your senior manager, and so on. So we make sure to put you in a space that really feels like working in a normal company. So anytime you go to work in a company, or you transition to an internship, if you want to, you can still find your way through it and absolutely nail it. So the next question by Mr. Joseph, what if someone does not have the money to purchase the course at the moment? Is that going to be a problem? So if you miss this discount period, you're still going to be eligible for the normal price without the discount, but we only give 2 weeks grace period, so you can get started with the program, but you're going to have a 2 weeks grace period to complete your enrollment. If not, unfortunately, we are going to have to remove you from the program. But you have 2 weeks grace period, so if you cannot take advantage of this discount, you can still get into the program, start the courses, and figure out your way around it within the month of the program. So, Mr. Yo, for someone who may want to complete the training in a shorter time, are there any arrangements for such? Because some individuals may not be really engaged in some work. Absolutely. So if you're put in any group project with other students and they are not really engaged, all you need to do is just to tell the mentor. And if we determine that you can work on this project by yourself, because some people are actually as good as that they can work on certain projects by themselves, you can absolutely do that. So just make sure to communicate with us, either email support or you message the mentor that is attributed to your classes, and we are going to accommodate that for you. We understand that some people want to move faster, so all you need to do is just to message us and we are going to be able to accommodate that for you. We have a dedicated platform that will help to avoid. Yes, so all the payments are done on our platform. So if somebody ever comes to give you a payment link, if somebody comes to give you an account to transfer the money to, don't give anything out. Every payment is done on our platform. And let me even see if I can show you. Let me head over to our platform right now, because I want to show you how it is done so that you should not be victim of any scam. Because I know that in our group, there can be some people that join the group for malicious intent. And I just want to guide everybody here that you shouldn't fall victim to any of that. Let me see. Can anybody see my screen right now? Let me show you basically how it is done on our platform. Okay, hold on. Let me share the screen so I can show you. So no payment should be made out of the platform. Everything should be done on our platform and it is extremely secured. The payment method we are using, or the payment processor we use, is called Flutterwave, or there is Stripe. These are extremely secured. So what you have to do is you go to billings and payments, and then you can see the button to make payments right here. So what you do is that you select your currency. So here are all the currencies. So let me say, for example, I choose Cedis, and then I click on make payments. So once the payment is made, it goes here and you can complete the payment, and then it is going to automatically update on your dashboard. So everything is done on our platform securely. If anybody wants to give you a different payment link, just block the person, or you come and contact us and we confirm if the person is part of our team. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for attending this class. Thank you so much for all the questions. Always remember that if you have any more questions or any more issues, just message any admin in the group, message support, email our support, and we are always going to be there. So applications are currently still open for the next batch. Head over to the programmersuniversity.com/sign up in order to apply. If you're not able to get the application link, message us, or we are going to basically send a reminder by tomorrow. So thank you once more for joining. I wish everybody a happy weekend.